everybody. We sort of did Sask soapbox last week. It was more of a Manitoba soapbox, and we focused really intensely on what was happening to Frances Widdowson, who added, I think, about 7 more names to her long enemies list. And maybe we can even touch on that a little bit, Lise, because we did you did a little bit of a deep dive into that if you want to talk about that. But I have on Lise Merle, my real life best friend and my co-host on the Rebel Roundup live stream on Tuesday and Wednesday. What a delight it is to get to work with your best friend. And then we have with us Michael Couros. He's a Saskatchewan based political commentator. And we are going to go back to the Saskatchewan soapbox because, guys, fill me in, bring me up to speed along with everybody else. There's a civil war in the Saskatchewan Party right now. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Lise.
If you listen to disgruntled former Sask Party MLA Randy Weeks, there is an absolute shakedown happening within the Sask Party leading up to the Saskatchewan Party convention. Now, it needs to be mentioned that Randy Weeks made these comments at the NDP convention.
So the Randy Weeks situation is very interesting because, Randy, of course, was a long-serving MLA for the Saskatchewan Party. And none of this happened until there was a redistribution of constituencies, and his constituency was completely taken out. So when his constituency was taken out, he wanted to go to a constituency very close to his and just kind of waltz in there and say, okay, well, I'm a sitting MLA. So basically anybody who's running against me should just back off. Now, the Sask Party's had a long history of open nominations. It went back to Brad Wall. And they basically said, listen, an open nomination. So Randy ran for his own nomination or as a sitting MLA and lost horribly. So when he lost that, then all of a sudden, not a few months later, did his disgruntlement with the Saskatchewan Party begin at that particular point. Needless to say, that had he won the nomination, he'd still be a Sask Party MLA that would be full of love, and maybe he would be dissatisfied with some of the issues with the Sask Party, but he'd still be a Saskatchewan Party MLA in name. But it's amazing what happens if you lose a nomination and then all of a sudden you just change your mind saying, okay, well, these guys couldn't see my brilliance because they made me go into a contested nomination. And because I was the sitting MLA in an area close to where I ran, they should have just handed this to me. So you've got narcissism, you've got all sorts of things going on. And now the Sask Party is the worst thing that's ever happened to Saskatchewan. Really, it's the worst thing that ever happened to Randy Weeks.
That's right? A true story. And Randy Weeks, here's the crazy thing. Randy Weeks didn't just become a card-carrying member of the NDP. Randy Weeks has been a socialist the whole time within the Sask Party, which is something that I think we need to talk about. Should we have a conservative government that is infiltrated with crazy leftists like Randy? Should we? Or should we root them out and salt the earth around them? I mean, I would say that there's no place for people with beliefs like Randy's, which align completely with the NDP on everything, into a conservative party. And the way that this sort of harmed the people of Saskatchewan was Randy Weeks over the years had a bunch of pretty high profile positions within the South. He was speaker of the Saskatchewan legislature. He worked on sort of the healthcare portfolio in a way that he sort of liaised between healthcare administrators and the government. Well, how's that going for us, Saskatchewan? Our healthcare sector is an absolute disaster. Well, you can thank Randy Weeks for that. That's what he did. So in any case, Randy coming out swinging against the Sask Party it actually delights me, and it's hysterical because if Randy had any more sour grapes, he could open a winery.
Well, and it's,
actually,
it's pretty clear.
Sorry, it would be a vinegary, not a winery. It'd be vinegary.
Well, and it's pretty clear that they had not Randy's number at the nomination. The people figured out who Randy is, and that's why he lost the nomination, and Randy is just bitter. If he had won that nomination, as Michael points out, he would have been a loyal Sask Party soldier, but now he is bitter. And it seems to me, just outside looking in, Randy's only ideology is whatever gets Randy elected. And, principles be damned.
Worse than that, I think
I'm so happy you mentioned, because sorry, Michael, go ahead.
I think it's whatever, not what gets him elected, but basically what gets him noticed. And I can't see him running. He knows well enough that if he runs as an NDP candidate in rural Saskatchewan, he'll lose again. And I think the comment by the Sask Party, you remember that? What was the comment about the Sask Party, that he lost his nomination, then he went and helped the NDP lose the election?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Their rundown of the entire event was so funny. Randy Weeks is a disgruntled former Sask Party MLA who lost his nomination and then went on to help the Saskatchewan NDP lose the election. Whoever wrote that line, right, should get a raise at the Sask Party. It was just like, get Randy Weeks some aloe vera for that burn. But Randy, I don't think Randy is so interested in getting himself reelected. I believe Randy is interested in getting his daughter promoted through the Saskatchewan NDP. So Randy Weeks is the father to Lacey Weeks, current Regina Public School trustee and an absolute lunatic leftist. This is a woman who doesn't know how many genders there are. She just doesn't. It's a mystery how many genders there are. Lacey Weeks, Randy's daughter, is super into boys in the girls' change room. Okay, this is something that Lacey spearheaded. Lacey wanted to bring Cree language into the Saskatchewan curriculum as a mandated outcome. Randy Weeks was influenced by his crazy leftist daughter for all of the years she was growing up, and now it's all these chickens are coming home to roost. So, Randy Weeks, we see you. We see what you're doing, and good luck with that. Bud.
And I will put a personal touch on this thing. I've known Randy for years. Randy is half Greek. So I used to joke about him being the only Greek MLA. And quite frankly, we had a very friendly relationship when he was with the Sask Party. I've not spoken to him since he actually left to go to the NDP. I'm very disappointed in what he's done, because the thing is, I think he'd be quite happy if he could do something to make the Saskatchewan Party lose the next election. And then we would be with the NDP, which I don't think would be a great idea, because I don't think that Carla Beck, and if you, by the way, the NDP are on a social media roll right now. They must have done some polling and think that she's the face of the NDP, because she's everywhere right now on social media. And some of the things that she's claiming to say are just mind-boggling. So good, I wish Randy, like I said, he's always been friendly to me. I wish Randy the best, but the reality is he's playing for the wrong side and for the wrong reasons. And that's politics for you. Keeps it interesting. As for the NDP, Carla Beck is putting up things about, the Sask Party broke healthcare, we'll fix it. And I went on that, I saw that, I said, well, great, I'll fix it. And I put one comment. I said, how? How will you fix it? And on CJWW this morning, basically they were saying about, well, we'll just hire more nurses and make more facilities. Oh, okay. So where are you going to get this money from? Are you taking it from social services? Are you taking it from education? Where are you getting this money from? Are you going to raise taxes? And by the way, that's not fixing it. That's basically putting a Band-Aid on a problem that needs surgery. And in another post just recently, they said, we will do whatever it takes to fix healthcare. Really? So you will actually look at a two-tiered system? You will look at eliminating socialist healthcare? You'll look at that? You'll really look at anything? Or what is your idea of anything?
Don't be ridiculous. They're thinking drive-through made is what they're thinking. This is the NDP, Michael. Don't be ridiculous. They don't have any solutions.
This big thing, they said, we're the ones that gave you Medicare, right? So be thankful, because we're the ones who brought you Medicare. Yeah, but you also brought us people waiting in hallways and long waiting lists and people dying on waiting lists. But that's part of the whole idea of socialized medicine. Is that's part and parcel of it. You've got disgruntled nurses, you've got disgruntled doctors, you've got disgruntled everything. You've got a bureaucracy that takes so much money that more people could be paid through the system, but you've got socialized healthcare. So I'm not saying we should go to an American style system because that has its faults, but at least somebody can say, hey, listen, maybe the people that can afford to pay can. A two-tiered system is kind of a no-brainer, to be honest with you. The people that need help. I like the fact that you don't lose your house if you get sick with cancer in Canada. I really appreciate that. But I don't appreciate people sitting on waiting lists for 2 years to get something that they're in pain about. It's ridiculous. There has to be a happy medium, and it's not the full 100% American system, but it certainly isn't 100% the Canadian system.
Yeah. Have you tried a Brookfield death pod? Because I think that's what's coming next.